Hello, my name is Sam McLure. I'm the founder of the adoption law firm, and today we're going to briefly discuss the Alabama requirements for home study. Now, in every adoption in Alabama, a home study is required. In an unrelated adoption, that's where the child is not related to the petitioners, there's a more robust list of requirements, but also in a step-parent, grandparent, or other relative adoption, there is a mini home study that's required. So let's jump into the list. First, each petitioner needs a letter of suitability stating that there are no hits for things on the FBI and State Bureau of Investigation clearances. Number two, we need a child abuse and neglect clearance, otherwise known as a CAN clearance. Number three, an anticipated costs and expenses related to the adoption. That's going to be an affidavit. And any agency or social worker license. So the person performing your home study has to be a licensed social worker or the adoption agency through whom you're adopting. Number five, 6 letters of reference. 4 of those letters of reference need to be unrelated to the petitioner. Number 7, medical reports of everybody living in the home of the adopted petitioners. Number 7, financial worksheets or a copy of the previous year's tax returns for the petitioners. Number 8, copies of each petitioner's birth certificates and marriage licenses. Copies of pet vaccinations, copies of divorce decrees if applicable, and copies of death certificates if applicable. For example, if it's a step-parent adoption and the previous spouse has passed away. Next, we have the verification of who will be doing the supervisory visit. That would, in most cases, be the social worker, and that report must be completed within 45 days of the placement. Next, we have a written biography of each petitioner, including their medical and social histories. Next, that home study is going to need to include a home safety inspection. And next, the verification of the allegations of the petition. So the social worker is going to need to do a sufficient background investigation so that the court can look and determine whether there has been compliance with all of the consent or relinquishment provisions of the adoption code. Now, if the home study is a post-placement, or if it's pre-placement then post-placement, the social worker needs to include why the biological or legal parents have desired to be relieved of their parental responsibility to the child, whether or not the biological parents have abandoned the child. Also, the social worker is going to need to include any orders affecting custody of the adoptee or any children of any petitioner. All right, the social worker needs to do due diligence to find any of those orders affecting a child. That report also needs to include any property owned by the adoptee. Usually no property is owned by the adoptee, but also updated medical and mental health histories for the adoptee and also for the adoptee's biological parents, if available. Also, the court has broad powers to require the social worker to come up with anything else that might be relevant for the court's consideration. Also, we need updated, if this is a post-placement report and the child's already been in the home, we need an updated letters of suitability, CAN clearances, criminal histories, things like that, and also proof of compliance with the Interstate Compact for the placement of children. And the investigator should complete and file that pre-placement home study with the court within 60 days of receipt of notice of the adoption. Now, if it's a step-parent adoption, there's an abbreviated home study, but a home study is required or an investigation nonetheless. First, there needs to be FBI and State Bureau of Investigation letters of suitability for each adult living in the home, just like the unrelated adoption. In addition, there needs to be child abuse and neglect clearance reports showing that there are no child abuse and neglect CAN reports for each petitioner. And in addition, there needs to be a home safety inspection for the related adoptive petitioners, step-parents, related, and the like. And so there's a lot of requirements under the new adoption code for the home study, the pre-placement, post-placement report. It's very robust for unrelated adoptions, kind of a mini home study for related adoptions. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out and call us today.